Kia ora! March is officially in the books. I finished today with a green trade on QSG, taking one solid setup early and locking in a small win before the stop flushed. Still sticking to my one trade a day recovery plan, and while I stay disciplined, I know I need to step it up in April. Let's break down the trade, talk about what I did well and where I need to improve. QSG was the second leading stock in the market when I opened up my platform this morning. And I'll just bring that up. So it had popped at the start of pre-market up to about 486 and then gradually it had made a new high around 519. I didn't see this until around 5:45 in the morning here, and basically I saw it when it was around it was just pulling back again down to about 455. So if I bring up the video here, we'll have a look here. So I looked at taking a position on this at 455 initially, but I didn't see any news on it. So without a news headline, I wanted to wait to see if it popped on the long side first before I took a position on it. So I'll just play the thing here. It's at double speed, so it's a bit quicker. So it had pulled back here and I had thought about taking a position there. And here I thought, oh, well, if it pulls back again, I'll get in at 455. So it started pulling back, but then it didn't come down 455, it started pushing higher. And this kind of surprised me because it did just sort of hit 462 and then see it's sort of struggling against 462. But then suddenly it just hits 463 and pops up through the VWAP. Now you'll notice it'll pull back in a moment. It's a micro pullback on the 10-second chart. So pulling back down to the VWAP again, and I'm in on that micro pullback there, looking for it to push up further. Breaking through that 477 mark, and there's a pivot here you can see here around 495. And this sort of topping tail that started here, a bit of selling pressure came in. And I thought, oh, that's okay, I'll hold through this. But with that topping tail there, I was a bit worried that there was too much selling pressure on this and it wasn't going to break 495. So I waited for this pullback to see what happened. If it pushed higher and broke through that 489 with some decent volume, then I was looking at staying in. If it didn't break it with volume or didn't break it at all, then I was going to take my exit. So the red volume candle here is looking okay. Now it's really looking for that exit. And it did break there, but just didn't have enough push through that break there for me to hold that trade. So I got out of it pretty quickly. Probably could have held it a bit longer to see if it did push through, especially on this next candle here where it's holding higher and pushing. That can be often where it pushes through that level and then pushes again, but it just didn't have the strength in it to do that. And then it double topped here, and that was pretty much it for that trade. So I was pretty happy with that trade. Good confident entry on the VWAP, and then good exit as well near the top of that move. So good trade today. And you can see it's pulling back now. And actually, after this, it just keeps pulling back down to about $4. So I can probably fast forward it a bit. Yeah, so it comes down, breaks through the VWAP, then blows through that support level at 450, and then just carries on down to about $4. What was that, $4.20, where it has a bit of a bounce, but then it carries on down to $4. Yeah. So that was pretty much it for QSG. I did think about taking a trade later on, actually. If I can get to it. Where is it? It's along here. It had come down to test the low again around $4, and then it pushed up. And I saw that and I saw, oh, it's testing the low and it's coming back up. And there was an entry here around 407 that I could have taken. I would have had to have held through this retest to that level. But if I scrub forward a little bit, it eventually breaks through and then breaks through that pivot point again along here for a breakthrough to about 440, I think it went up to. So it would have been a longer hold on that one. No, I didn't. I switched over to another stock that was popping up. But yeah, it made it up to about 443 and then started pulling back. And that would have been a nice trade as well. But I stuck to my plan. You know, I'm only trading once a day at the moment until I sort of get back to a point where I'm comfortable taking more trades. And so that was really the plan for today. The next stock that sort of caught my eye or popped up was NWTG. I think this is NWTG here. So this one in pre-market popped up just after 7 o'clock. Put in a move, get rid of that. Put in a move up to $2.18 initially. So pushed up to $2.18 and then started pulling back. There's a nice dip entry here around $2, around the whole dollar mark. And then it pushed back up to a high of, what is that? If I pull that down a bit. A high of $2.40 in here. So that was a decent trade as well in there. And then it came down and held that level around $2 again, around here, and did another push up. So a couple of nice dip trades in there. But once again, outside my strategy. And the first one was okay because the MACD was still open. So it was still on the front side of that move, that initial move. The second one, however, probably wouldn't have taken because the MACD's starting to close there, and just the volume profile's not, I suppose it's still okay, but the red volume bars are getting a bit bigger, and this especially this red candle here is quite significant coming down through the VWAP, so possibly wouldn't have taken that trade there. But that was next one that sort of popped up. APLM as well was another one that popped up this morning. Very quickly though, put in a massive move here. Wow. Yeah, so it sort of popped up from around $8.71, pushed all the way up to $14.95, and then came all the way back down again. So didn't see any. I can't remember if it had news or not actually. That one there, I think it did. It had news, but yeah, and that's what pushed it up immediately, but it just sold off straight away. So there's nothing in that one either. DOMH, this one I got tempted on taking a trade on. Yeah, so this popped up. Had fresh news and popped up here to a high of 650, and there's a dip entry around the whole $half mark, 550, or a little bit lower, maybe 540 entry, but probably spreads are a bit wider on this one, I think, and yeah, would have had to take a quick exit because there's a lot of topping tails on this stock, so quite volatile, ripping and then dipping again. And these two here, nice bottoming tails, showing that it's got some support there. But you know, it's not until it reaches around here where it gets to break the VWAP that the volume is coming in for green, and then again in these bars here. But didn't manage to break over the high, sort of held that level for a bit, went into consolidation, went sideways, and then broke down and sort of faded, and then dumped at the open as well. So that was the end of DOMH. But I did think about taking the trade as it broke through VWAP here and pushed up higher, but didn't do that one either. Stuck to my plan. ICCT was the next stock that sort of, well, it was sort of there all morning, all pre-market, but because it's a penny stock and it was under $1, I didn't even really look at it. I saw that it had gone from like 30, 40 cents all the way up to 83, or I think it was 70, around 70 cents initially. And I thought, well, that's putting in a good move. So it did a pretty good move during pre-market and just sort of went sideways and then dipped down at the open, but then ripped up to $1.32. And I think I saw it reach about $1.99. Yeah, got up to, well, I saw it hit that halt there at $1.99. And it's obviously gone further before the close, up to $2.36. So that was a pretty big move for a penny stock. So nice to see. That was pretty good. And I noticed MLGO pushed up again as well. This stock's been up a couple of times in March. And yeah, it did a little bit of a push in pre-market. I saw it break the VWAP and go up to 1920, somewhere in there, 1950. But I didn't see the open, so I missed seeing that move. But it went from 1855 all the way up to 2548. So this is a Chinese stock that's popped up a few times, and it has, yeah, popped up again today and put in pretty big moves. I would imagine the spreads were quite wide on this, given its price and its range. But yeah, then it even went higher throughout the day, up to $30.05. So another big move for MLGO. Nice to see that, though. And the overall market looks like it's the no, actually, if I change that to year to date. Yeah, because the S&P 500 has dipped. Look here. Last week it sort of dipped down. Last few days it's been dipping down. And today it's actually starting to, well, it's bounced off of that support level there again. So hopefully, yeah, hopefully it recovers, but yeah, it's still in an uncertain time at the moment, whether it's going to recover or go even further down. So good trade on QSG today, 19 cents a share, $38 profit. So just chipping away at my drawdown. So if we look at the stats for March, you know, I've had 15 green days. Bring it up here. So I've had 15 green days here and 4 red days, which is pretty good. Majority of my month's been green. It's just when you look at my average winners versus my average losers, my average winners are only $27.34 versus my average losers, which are $56.65. So you can see on my stats here, my risk reward ratio is only 0.48, which is really letting me down. My accuracy around 66, 67%, that's okay. But you can see here, for me to be profitable, my win rate, my accuracy has to be over 67.45%, or my risk reward ratio needs to increase. So, and you can see on the chart, on the calendar, that really it's this day here and this day here, my two biggest losing days, red days, are the main cause of that, me being unprofitable in the month. And there were days where I overtraded and really lost my focus and my discipline on my strategy, and I was trying to dig myself out of a hole, and I just made the hole deeper. So especially on this day here, where down $623, when my max loss is really around $50. So that wasn't good at all. The only day I really managed to stick to my discipline when it was red was on the 12th, on this day here. And I was probably over $50 in the red, but I managed to bring it to below 50, and then I walked away. Yeah, so if we actually have a look, I have a quick look at the 25th. And you can see on this day I've started off with a loss, come back with a green, not back in profit yet. And then I took a trade on KBSX and lost $340. So this is where I had a mistake on my keyboard. I accidentally pushed the buy button by mistake when this was basically at the top of its move. So have a quick look at this. Yeah, you can see where I bought in, right here. And I've hit the key by mistake, bought in there, and then like a deer in headlights, I've watched it flush all the way back down to here before getting out. If I'd hit the sell key, initially when I got in, I probably would have been out somewhere up here as it pulled back down, because it had pushed up and it was still sort of flickering up here when I bought in. So if I'd sold straight away, I wouldn't have had a $300 loss. I would have been out with maybe $50 down, or something like that. So a much smaller loss on that trade. So that was, yeah, big mistake there. But then it was compounded by the fact that I kept trading. I wasn't able to accept that I was going to take a big loss. And the next trade after that, I sort of made some of it back. I actually could have made about $100 back, but I didn't take the exit when I was at 100. I thought it was going to push higher. It didn't. And then I kept trading and trading and trading, and ended up down twice as much, pretty much. Nearly over twice as much as initially I was down from that one mistake. Oh, excuse me. So, yeah. So it was those two big red days there that really affected my stats and my profitability on the month. So looking at my P&L curve here, it's, I was up here around 600, what was that, $640 at my peak in March in profit, which was really good. And when I had my first big red day when I was down $360, I actually started that day up 110. I was in the green 110, and if I'd taken that off the table at 110, then I possibly would have been up, 700 and had a profitable month. Not necessarily, but if I hadn't have had that red day there, I possibly wouldn't have had such a big red day here. Yeah. But at the end of the month here, I am, about $132 in the red. And if I look at it this way, so net I'm $132.41 in the red, but my gross profit before fees, I'm actually green, $83.45. So my fees and commissions for the month have put me in the red as well. So, although that's a technicality really, I'm still red on the month. And my winners versus losers for the month, I did pretty well. Pretty much had twice as many winners as I did losers. And the majority of my winners were down here around sort of 10 cents and under, and then 11 to 20 cents were the majority. I didn't have enough further on, so like 30 cents, 40 cents, 50 cents. There weren't enough of those sorts of winners to really increase my risk-reward ratio. That's just a graph of the days in March, which were red and green. So this is my P&L on the days of the week. So Thursday was actually my most profitable day over the month. And the number of trades I took, I traded the most on Fridays, or nearer the end of the week. Sort of Wednesdays, I obviously didn't trade as much. But yeah, I do tend to trade more at the end of the week. And I definitely take, it seems my best winners are before 7 a.m. I'm entering the trade before 7 a.m. And yeah, so, but my most profitable time is before 7 a.m. as well, it looks like. So the profit I've made before 7 a.m. is $634.73. So if I focus at the start of my session before 7 o'clock, that's where I'm making the majority of my profit. My next one looks like it's between 9:30 and 10. I've had some good trades there as well, profitable trades, but my losses are almost as big. And my most unprofitable time of the day is between 9 and 9:30 coming into the open. And that's probably because of a few trades I took into the open, and also my biggest losses were around that time in March. KB ECX I think was there. There was another trade as well, I can't remember the ticker, but I held that into the open and lost about $70 on that as well. And then, so most of my winning trades that I take are under a minute in length. 2 minutes, 3 minutes next, and then longer lengths of time. Yeah, I tend not to try and hold things for too long, but yeah, generally I'm in and out pretty quickly. And the price range in March, I did the best on, the most profit I made was, yeah, because of those big losses, it really skews these. So usually I do pretty well between $5 and $10, but when I'm not managing my risk properly, then they become my biggest losers as well. And same with 3 and 5. Yeah, so that's how March ended up really. I think it just shows that if you're not sticking to your strategy, you're not sticking to your plan, then your stats can get really skewed from a couple of days that you've lost big on. And if I just stuck to my strategy or stuck to my plan and actually got out earlier without adding to the loss, then that's where I went wrong. So looking forward to April, I'm still going to stick for my one trade a day plan, and that's just to minimize my risk for my account until my account's back into not in the green to where I was profitable, but above the starting line. So I had about 1,400 in my account when I started, and I'm about 132.41 off that. So I've still got about $200 to go before I get back into being sort of profitable over my the amount that I funded the account with. So, and also because I've got software fees coming out as well for the start of the month, so that's about $79 US. So that's why it's over $200. So that'll get added in tomorrow. What else was there? Yeah, so you can see the fees here. Fees I paid this month were $215.87. Plus I haven't taken the fees off for this morning's trade for $38. I think my entry will be charged a commission. My exit, I should only get charged the exchange fees. So it should be about just over $1 in fees there. So it won't make too much of a difference really. Yeah, so going forward for April, definitely trying to keep disciplined. You know, March wasn't the month that I really wanted. It was really important that I stayed disciplined during March, and I had a couple of days where I really lapsed in judgment and ended up spiraling into the red. So going into April, I want to be more confident, and I have been more confident the last couple of days, taking better trades, getting better entries, and being more confident in those entries as well. So that's been really good. But now it's, building on that confidence and getting my account back to being profitable again, and then taking, going away from my recovery plan into, taking more trades, maybe taking 2 or 3 trades a day, and then letting the shackles off once I've got a bit of a cushion. What do you think? Should I have taken another trade today? Or was it the right move to stick to the plan? Drop a comment and let me know. If you're enjoying these breakdowns, make sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Hei a pōpō.